Well, I would like to say, first of all, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Now, we have had a quiet week in terms of Gaza, a violent week in terms of Hamas. We released Hamas to their homes on what's called the West Bank of the Jordan, and they immediately go back to operating terrorism and terrorist movements, which have cost Jewish lives. Now, obviously, Gaza at the present moment has not agreed to anything, any terms. And therefore, we have shut down all humanitarian aid. The next thing is we're going to shut down all electricities, which is given freely for Israel to so. And if that doesn't work, we'll just have to go in house to house once again and kill them all. Obviously, we would prefer a settlement whereby our hostages are released. Unfortunately, they're dragging their feet. Well, why would they drag their feet? People in Gaza, Hamas in Gaza. Well, there are two reasons. One, they're dragging their feet because they know that when the last hostage is delivered to us, we will attack viciously. The other reason is they really, really think that by starving and torturing the hostages and letting us know that we're going to give up all military action, give them control of Gaza, withdraw all our forces, and wait until the next attack. That's not going to happen. Not at all. We will have to clean our house first of all of the, well, I call them traitors, but they're not traitors, they're just incompetents. The military was totally incompetent on the 7th of October. The people were not properly taken care of. The Air Force was on strike and did not supply any fighter planes. One military helicopter was on the scene and did what it could. The situation, unbelievably bad. There was no preparation. There was no active military on the border. So the fight was fought with the civilians and with the police. The military didn't come in until much later, till almost noon or more. The military totally screwed up. The girls who were there, that were the observers, when the attack came, the girls had one M16 with 30 rounds, and none of the other girls were issued anything at all. So they went to the protected bunkers. And when they ran out of ammunition, well, the Hamas broke through and raped every single one of them. Gangbanged them. I mean, you look at that, and I've been many years in the Israeli army, and I know the Israeli army's ability to fight, but this is something new. Because they hate Bibi, they do not want to participate in the protecting of the state of Israel. That would be like saying, because we don't like Trump, we're going to close down all of our military, pull them back from everywhere in the world, and send them all home for Christmas. And Christmas is only a 6 months vacation for them, maybe longer. So that's the insanity of what's going on here. We have a ceasefire, and it's one-sided. I could tell you how many Jews have been killed in the last 2 weeks, but it would be heartbreaking for you to know the amounts. It has been a lot of Jews have been killed and wounded. Bombs have been going off. And we were fighting a full-scale war next to my house here in Judea and Samaria, which is not recognized as a war. Essentially, it's a more of peace action against local Hamas terrorist organizations. I don't know. I've lived here for 50 years, and when I've seen the arrogance of the Israelis, this is the first time I've seen arrogance coupled with incompetence. We don't do quick change as soon as possible. It's just going to be more of the same. Now, President Trump says he's going to do something about it. Well, okay. President Trump, if you're seeing this, we respect, and I personally believe that you will do something about it. But it's my belief, too, that unless you have American boots on the ground, working in coordination with the Israeli boots on the ground, nothing will ever be accomplished. You can't frighten them because they believe in their religion. You can only do one thing: kill them. And in order to kill them, you have to kill so-called innocent civilians because they're using them as human shields. It's a tough decision. Trump obviously will open up the floodgates of ammunition, supplies, and bombs, and whatever we need to kill women and children and the men who are fighting against us. But if President Trump, I'm talking to you again, if you really want a plan to go forward of cleaning the terrorists out of Gaza and putting in some other organization that might possibly be more reasonable, with all of the specs here, whoever came up with that plan is bullshitting you. That won't happen. First, you have to conquer them, like we conquered Berlin in World War II. Then you have to occupy them with American troops, with Israeli troops. Then you have to re-educate 2 generations into not seeing Jews as monsters that need to be killed. Then the 3rd generation we can talk to. The 3rd generation who have not been raised by United Nations, UNRWA, whatever they call themselves, where they go into the schools and pay teachers to tell the people that Jews are animals and must be killed, tell their students from first age that Jews are animals and must be killed. They dress up one of the members of the class as an Israeli, and then the other members of the class rush him all at once with rubber knives, shouting, "God is great, kill the Jew." They start that out at the age 3 or 4. And then when they're about 12, they're going off to the summer schools where they learn the use of all the automatic weapons and everything else that they need to use when the war comes. And they, at age 15 or 16 or 14, whatever, they join Hamas as a military organization, the military wing of Hamas, and they get further training and indoctrination. So a total act of understanding on the part of the world is what primarily allows them to continue this and will allow them to continue to kill us until the world is dragged into World War III. And it won't be because of us, it'll be because America didn't do enough. Because America can do more. President Trump, you know what I'm talking about. You know the price. You know it has to be done. And I pray that God of Israel, that you respect, will give you the courage to make the final decision of Hamas. The only decision is you have to just change the people. They're Nazis. Hamas is Nazis. Their schools are Nazi run. How long did it take to educate Germany? I would say probably at least 20 years, maybe 30. So Gaza has to be occupied for at least 30 years to retrain the next generation and to weed out the poisonous survivors of HAMAS, kill them, imprison them for life, but don't let them back into Gaza ever again. So it was very happy speech, blurb, whatever it's called these days. I'm wishing you all Shabbat Shalom. And hope things will get better, but I know they won't. Every day that goes by, Hamas is dragging its feet. Another of the captives will die of starvation, rape, murder, and beatings. Is that even something that counts with the world, with the United States? I don't know. When the tough gets, when the tough, when the things in the world get going, the tough gets going. I think that was something that said during the Korean War, maybe earlier. It's time. And it's also time to reestablish the draft in America. Oh, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Okay, well, I'll tell you something. When did Rome stop becoming a republic and became a corrupt dictatorship of the emperors? When they stopped the draft. Every Roman citizen is required to serve 20 years in the army, not just 2 or 3 years, like in America, 20 to 30 years in the army and the Legion, where they learned to defend themselves and learned to organize. And this was the only thing that kept Roman democracy a democracy. And then the first thing that the Caesars did that was very popular, but very poisonous, is to abolish the draft. We have abolished the draft now for more than a generation, perhaps. And what are we seeing? We're seeing that everybody in America is not aware of how the other people feel, and there's no melting pot. America's not a melting pot anymore. The melting pot in America is a draft, where 18-year-olds are put together from all parts of the country to serve the country for 2 years, and in those 2 years, they'll begin to realize that there's a lot more to being an American that they ever knew before. That other people all across America pretty much the same. No, President Trump, I know that you won't be able to do this because of the popularity, but you might as well do it because you're not going to run another term. Reestablish the presidential decision to reestablish the draft will be the best thing to make America America. Take care, my friends. I will see you as soon as I can see you, either in this world or